Day 4 of the trial in the Eastern District of Virginia of Paul Manafort. And some very interesting events took place. This via Fox News. The judge in the Paul Manafort trial reminded special counsel Robert Mueller's team today of the high bar for conviction, that they must prove the former Trump campaign chairman knowingly violated tax and bank laws related to his political work overseas. U.S. District Court Judge T.S. Ellis III indicated he believes the prosecution has demonstrated Manafort had control of foreign bank accounts, despite checking a box on tax returns saying he didn't have them. But Ellis reminded prosecutors, quote, the government has to prove that Manafort knew what the requirement was and that he deliberately violated it. Manafort, facing charges of bank and tax fraud related to his political work in the Ukraine, has pleaded not guilty to all charges. A source close to Manafort's team told Fox News the defense has not yet decided whether to have Manafort testify during the trial. This person said they will make the decision after the prosecution rests its case, which should be next week. Today's testimony is focused on the tax fraud charges. The years involved 2010 to 2014 were before Manafort worked for President Trump's campaign. Though the case stems from Mueller's probe of election meddling by Russia and so-called collusion by the Trump campaign, there's been no mention of election interference. On Friday, Philip Ayilef, a CPA who prepared Manafort's taxes, testified Manafort signed tax returns that showed none checked for any foreign bank accounts between the years 2010 and 2014. The government pointed out that Manafort signed his tax returns under penalty of perjury. Well, we all do that. Now, I don't know about Manafort or so forth. We all do our best on our taxes, but the tax code, here's the deal. The tax code is so complicated that a lot of people have to hire certified public accountants, CPAs. And the CPAs go through the material that the person gives to them. The CPA, at least a good one, will also indicate that they need certain other information, and they'll ask them questions, and they'll give them suggestions. And then at the end of all this, you get a tax return, and you sign it under penalty of perjury. This is one of the reasons I have been arguing for decades, for either a flat tax or a fair tax. That is, either a national sales tax and the complete elimination of the federal income tax, or a flat tax where everybody pays the same amount. Get rid of most of the IRS, get rid of most of the Internal Revenue Code, because people, putting Manafort aside, don't know, really, in many cases, if they're filing the right tax return information or not. They rely on experts. And then when you get an expert at a trial says, yes, well, he didn't do this and he didn't do that, and the government says, and he signed it under penalty of perjury, didn't he? Well, yes, don't we all? Of course, those people out there who are on the dole, who never pay taxes, who don't have to file tax returns, they don't have this problem. They just take our money. But that for another day. Prosecutor Uza Osanye walked Aliff, the accountant, through each year and asked, what did Mr. Manafort say for this year for foreign bank accounts? Aliff responded, none for each one. Prosecution also showed documents where the accountant emailed Manafort asking if he had foreign accounts. Manafort responded that he didn't. But Mueller's team says Manafort repeatedly used accounts in Cyprus to pay for an array of luxury items and services. Now remember, this is only one side right now. Prosecutors have introduced a host of exhibits and are in the process of calling several witnesses, part of their effort to paint Manafort as a tax scofflaw who failed to report money spent on luxury items, then lied to get bank loans when his foreign consulting work dried up. The prosecution has released exhibit photos of Manafort's expensive clothes. Wow, that's compelling. On Thursday, Manafort's bookkeeper, Heather Washkun, of the firm NKFSB, testified that Manafort racked up large bills but struggled to pay them in 2016. There's come a time in 2016 when Mr. Manafort had trouble paying his bills. Prosecutor Greg Andres asked the accountant in federal court in Alexandria, Virginia. Yes, she replied. Now, again, this is all, well, he had big bills, well, he had trouble paying his bills, well, he lived a lavish lifestyle. That's not the test, the judge points out. The government has to prove that he knew what the requirement was and that he deliberately violated it. That's what the government has to prove. Time will tell. The prosecution goes on until much of next week, and then the defense takes the stand. That's how that works. Then there's cross-examination, and there's other things that occur as well. Of course, the prosecution's key witness is this guy, Gates, who pled and got a deal, and he better sing like a bird for the government, otherwise the deal could crumble right in front of his face. I don't like these deals. It's really troublesome to me. The whole point here of a trial, what is the point of a trial? To get to the truth. To get to the truth. If you're handing out deals after threatening people with prosecution, like handing out M&Ms on Halloween, that's a problem to me. Is it not to you? I know it goes on all the time. That doesn't make it right. So that's our update. I'll keep a daily update for you on the trial that has absolutely nothing to do with Donald Trump. Nothing to do with the original mandate of the special counsel. Nothing to do with anything, actually. But it is a point of interest, I think.